So just really quick, I was hoping we'd have a lot more people on here today, but that's okay. All right, you see that? Okay.
Yeah, I see it.
Good. All right, so have you done much with the cold, like the just listed, just sold, like when we did the 6 questions? Have you done much of that?
No.
Okay. So, you know, when you do expired and for sale by owners, which I'm trying to remember, have you done much of the expired for sale by owner? Okay. See, when you do expired and for sale by owner, like you're in competition with quite a few more agents because it's kind of out there, like it's being advertised. And so there is kind of like a different skill level that's involved. But I've known a lot of newer agents that have taken a lot of for sale by owner expired listings because they have a little more time to follow up. And so the expired and for sale by owner listings, if you are following up, those are the agents that are getting the listing. And I'd like to do kind of a training on that because there really is a skill in that follow-up with those. But just listed, just sold, when you find somebody that's trying to sell a home and it's more of a cold contact, like you're the only person talking to that seller. So that's why this is such a great way to prospect. Is like it is really a cold type of thing, but it's business building on business. So when you get a listing, you can call or door knock that area when you take the listing, when it goes under contract, and also when it closes. So when you're going around talking to people, you're going to hit different people are going to answer the phone. But people see your sign or they see that sign. It doesn't have to be your company that sells that property, but they see that sign go up in their neighborhood. They want to know what it's listed for. They want to know what it closes for. They want to know what's going on with it, especially if they need to sell either soon or, you know, soon down the road. So the person that reaches out to them, they're wanting that information. So you're trying to find those people. And if you're reaching out, that's why business breeds business. That's why these, like when you get a listing, you should really capitalize on doing these scripts in that neighborhood. Or when you have a buyer, if you have a buyer and you can't find a home, or even if you can find a home, you should be out in those neighborhoods that buyer's looking for. Because even if you don't find that buyer a property, you will go find listings. Business breeds business. Even if you're out trying to find that buyer a home, you're going to find a listing. Because if you're out in this neighborhood saying, hey, my buyer needs a property, and this is exactly the neighborhood that he's looking for, that seller is going to take to that. And you, even if that buyer doesn't want that house, you're going to find a listing. So use your current business to breed more business. That's always kind of, it's just like kind of a, you know, that's how that, you know, gets the train moving, right? Okay, let's go right into it. Don, will you be our agent on this script?
Sure.
And when you're doing something more cold, you kind of want to get right into it. You don't want to say a lot of, you know, how are you doing today? When you're a salesperson, you know, nobody has a lot of time for a salesperson. And think of it in this light, because a lot of people have a really hard time with cold calls, cold doors. You don't want to bother people. But when you need to get your windows washed, think of it like this, right? And you don't have time to figure out like who's a good window washing company, what are they going to charge? You know, you don't have time to go figure that out. And all of a sudden somebody calls you and they're like, hey, this is ABC window washing. And you're listening because you're like, you know, how long have you been in business? What do you charge? You know, you're interested because you want the service. So you're looking for people that need your service. You're not trying to talk people into selling their house. You're looking for people that need your service. Either they have some kind of desire to do something else, you're looking for that motivation, or they have a desire to invest. So you're trying to ask those questions, or they know somebody, a family member, a close friend that needs some help. So you're just trying to ask the questions to uncover the motivation, right? Okay. So, hello, my name is Katie. I'm with Remax Associates. I just listed a home over on Elm Street. has about 3,000 square feet, and it just was listed at $350,000. I was wondering, who do you know that might want to move into your area? I appreciate you taking the time to think about it, and tell me, when do you plan on moving? So I'm going to switch it really quick to the just sold. Now, just listed works just as good, but, and why can't I get it to scroll down? That's going to be my next challenge. Oh, probably because I didn't do that. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we're going to work on the just sold first. So those that weren't on the call, when you take a listing, you can call and door knock an area when it's listed, when it goes under contract, or when it closes. You can do it 3 times. You can do it when another company does it. You can do it when somebody else in your company does it, or when you do it. And it's, you know, of course, it's always great when it's yours. But even if it's another company, you can change the language to say, hey, a home just recently sold over on Elm Street. It was 3,000 square feet. It sold for, you know, 850,000. So you just change the language. Or our company just recently sold a home over on Elm Street. It was 3,000 square feet. It sold for a certain price. You know, just change the language on it. So try to spit out that first part. Hi, my name is Katie. I'm with Remax Associates. I recently sold a home in your area over on Elm Street. It has about 4,000 square feet. It sold for about $550,000. I know that when someone sells a home, usually 2 more sell right away. So I was wondering, when do you plan on moving? So we're trying to just spit out that first part to keep them on the phone. We're trying to like give them enough detailed information that if they want the information, they're staying on the phone, okay? All right, so Stockton, will you be his cold, we'll just say we're out door knocking. Will you be his cold door for him?
Sure.
Okay, go for it, Don.
Hello, my name is Don with Remax Associates. I just recently sold a home over on Vista Street. It has about 3,100 square feet and it sold for $450,000. We know when someone sells a home, usually 2 or more sell right away. So I was wondering, when do you plan on moving?
I hadn't really thought about moving.
Okay. Well, how long have you lived at this address?
16 years.
Wow, 16 years. That's awesome. You've probably seen a lot of changes around here.
Yeah.
So where did you move here from?
Portland.
Portland. Okay, good for you. How did you happen to pick this neighborhood?
I got a job transfer, and this neighborhood just was priced the best when I came here 16 years ago.
Okay, excellent. If you were to move, where would you go next?
Maybe St. George. I've heard it's nice down there.
Yeah, I've heard that too. That's exciting. And when do you think that might be?
Well, I just hadn't really considered it. I guess I could at any time.
Anytime. Okay. Well, obviously you realize that it would probably take around 1 to 3 months in this market to get a home sold. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
Yeah, it's the market has slowed down a little bit from where we were back in the spring. So my question is, do you have to be sold in 1 month, or would you want to start selling in that time frame, or what exactly would work best for you?
Okay, so I'll stop you just for a second because this script is a little bit, when you're trying to build a vision with someone that's just barely thinking about it, right? You got to kind of slow it down because he's like barely thinking, well, we might move to St. George, and you know, we've been thinking about it. So maybe that's when you start to kind of close. And the third page here, I've written some closes. So once you have enough information and somebody is kind of thinking about moving to St. George, it kind of gives you some ideas on how to like gather some of that information and try to close for an appointment. So maybe you might say something like, tell me a little bit more about moving to St. George. Let him tell you a little bit, like, why is he thinking about moving to St. George? Instead of pushing for an appointment, and then that way, like maybe he's got family down there, or maybe he's looking at a job opportunity down there. And then, hey, why don't we get together? And since you've just barely kind of started to think about this, let's see if it's, it makes sense for you to make the move sooner than later. And then that way I can give you that information you need to make that decision, in making a move. I've got some time either this time or this time, right? So like if you've got somebody that's kind of like, you can tell they're just barely kind of in the beginning stages, these closes right here will kind of help you kind of gather that information and then make that close, and then give them those 2 times. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And then of course, make sure you're going into, hey, before I come out, there's just a couple more questions. So go from that point, Don, where he just told you he was moving to St. George, and then ask him to tell you a little bit more about that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, St. George is a nice area. What's attracting you to St. George?
The hot weather. It's just been too cold up here the last couple weeks.
Okay. And would you need to would your job be able to transfer down there?
I'm thinking that I'm an old man. I'm ready to retire, so I could maybe just call it quits.
Call it quits and just golf all day.
Yep, that sounds fantastic.
Yeah, that sounds like a great life. So yeah, I'd like to just kind of see if it makes sense to with the numbers and everything for you to make that move. Would it be possible for me to come back over to your house and take a look at it, and maybe we could look at some numbers and see exactly what we need to do to get you down into St. George?
Give him
Okay.
2 times.
What's that?
Give him 2 times to close.
Okay. Yeah. Would it be better to come back Saturday at 1 or Monday at 7?
Monday at 7.
Okay, that sounds great. Before I come back out, I just have a few more questions I'd like to ask you.
That sounds great.
Hey, awesome, Don. All right, Stockton, are you ready to go?
What was that?
Are you ready to go? Be the agent?
Yeah.
All right. Kyle, do you want to be his cold door?
Sure.
All right, go for it, Stockton.
Would you mind just scrolling up just a bit? Just
Oh, absolutely.
Thank
For
you.
sure. This is like, I'm struggling with this mouse right here. Okay, there you go.
Hello, my name is Stockton Farnsworth of 3 Max Associates, and I just recently sold a home over on Elm Street. It had 3,000 square feet and it sold for $600,000. We know when someone sells a home, usually 2 more sell right away. So I was wondering, when do you plan on moving?
Oh, how much did it sell for?
600,000.
600,000. Wow. Yeah. I haven't really planned on anything, to be honest with you. We've been here for about 6 years and just decided to just love this house.
Yeah, 6 years. That's great. So where did you move from?
We moved from Sacramento, California.
Nice. And how did you happen to pick this area?
Well, to be honest with you, I came out here for work on a temporary and ended up meeting my now wife and just decided to stay here. So never went back to California.
That's excellent. And if you were to move, where would you go next?
If we were to move, we'd probably go to Ledges.
Nice. And when would that be? Do you have any thoughts?
I don't know. We got kids in school, and the school up there is kind of hard to get to. So probably after the kids are a little bit older.
Nice. And what ages are they at right now?
I got a 4-year-old and a 13-year-old and a 15-year-old.
Well, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So my question is, if you were looking to be sold in maybe a few years, maybe I could follow up with you and stay in touch. Do you have a friend or a family member who's a real estate agent that you'd refer your friends or clients to, or friends or family to?
Yeah, no, not really.
Well, I'd love to be that agent. I'd love to be that person. Would you mind if I took your contact information and just stayed in touch with you?
Sure. Sure. Yeah, no problem at all.
Sweet. So I guess in that scenario, I just decided to that I couldn't get the sale anytime soon. So maybe just switch to the mayor campaign.
Yep, and put them on your SOI or something like that. One
Yeah,
thing.
I would have asked just to, and that's, he did really good when I told him how long I lived here. So he went right to number 3. So I thought that was good. But I would have asked for, who else do you know that might want to buy
Yeah.
or sell?
Yep.
That's the only thing is that, okay, because I gave you a condition, and the condition was my son is, or my, it won't be until our kids leave, but, to say, hey, oh yeah, you know what? The neighbor right across the street told me that he was wanting to sell, something like that. Or my sister is moving and she lives, so I would have asked that question.
I agree. That sounds great.
Yeah, Stockton, on your script, always, like Kyle said, ask if they know anyone else. And then also that, have you ever thought of investing? Everybody has so much equity in their home right now. The other thing is whenever somebody has a condition, maybe like just the one more question of, if it made sense to move now versus waiting. All we know is what the market looks like right now. We don't know what it's going to look like. Sometimes a real estate cycle is 5 to 7 years. And if you want to move in 2 years, it might make sense to look at moving right now versus waiting 2 years. Would you be interested in sitting down for 30 minutes and just seeing if it makes sense for you to do it now versus waiting? And you never know what they're going to say. And it might be worth it just to ask the question. So just a
Yeah,
thought.
I like that. I love that language.
Yeah, because you just never know what people are going to say. I think we make a lot of assumptions as agents that people, if they've decided not to move for 2 years because of retirement or their kids aren't going to graduate till then, but if they're staying in the same area like Kyle is, he just wants to move to maybe a nicer area or a different area in St. George, it might make more sense for him to move now versus like the market maybe being not as good in a couple of years because we don't know, right? So,
Yeah.
Yep.
thought. Great job, Stockton. Okay, Janet, are you participating today?
Sure, I'm just on my phone, so I can, yeah, I
Okay,
can help.
Will you be Kyle's cold door if Kyle's the agent?
Sure.
Okay, Kyle, you're on.
Okay, doke. Knock, knock.
Hi.
Hi, my name is Kyle with Remax, and I recently sold a home just in your area, right over here on Main Street. It has 2,600 square feet, and we sold it for $600,000.
Wow.
I know, right? And I know when someone sells a home, or I know when I sell a home, I usually can sell two or more. Oh my gosh, sorry.
You're good.
We know when someone sells a home that usually 2 or more sell right away. So I was wondering, when do you plan on moving?
Well, we're just renting this house right now.
Oh, you're
Oh,
renting.
Janet,
Yeah.
we're in the assumption that you are owning the home.
Okay, sorry.
Okay, all right.
We've lived here about 5 years.
Okay, so 5 years. Fantastic. Where did you move from?
This is our first house. We just moved up from Sugar House.
Oh, from Sugar House.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Good, good. Well, how'd you happen to pick this area from Sugar House?
It's close to my parents.
Oh, it's close to your parents. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, great. Where do they live?
They're just down over by Highland High School.
Okay, Neville Highland. Okay, great, great. You know, if you were to move, where would you go next?
We like this area. We would want to stay in this area.
Oh, you want to stay in this area? Okay,
Uh-huh.
okay, that's exciting. And when would that be?
Um, oh, we're gonna try and stay here as long as we can, as long as our kids are, as long as we have enough room in this house. If we ever moved, it would probably be just to a larger home in this same area.
To a larger home? Well, how many square feet is your home now?
It's 1,500. Not
1,500?
very, not very
Oh,
big.
yeah, that's pretty small. That's pretty small. And you said how many kids do you have?
We only have two.
Oh, you have two kids. Okay, so your husband and your two kids. Okay. Would you be interested in looking at houses that are a little bit larger in the same area?
Right now we probably wouldn't, but maybe oh, maybe in a couple of years we would want to think about it.
Okay.
My
Yeah, 'cause
husband just started a job and I just don't think we want to move yet.
okay, I understand. With the market going crazy the last couple of years, a lot of people have equity. Have you thought about maybe keeping this house as a rental and going into a bigger house, and that way your rental income would pay for the mortgage you have on this one, and you could actually be an investor and have a rental home and a home. Have you thought that?
Oh, that our neighbors next door do that. That
Really?
really is a good idea.
Yeah. Well, I would love to sit down and talk to you about maybe looking at some houses that are available in this area that might work for your criteria. Is that something we can do?
Well, can I talk to my husband and see if that's something he'd want to do?
Yeah, fantastic. You know what? While you're here and I'm here, let's do this. I have Saturday at 1 available and Monday at 2. And what I can do is if you could pick one of those times, I'll pencil you in and then I will call you to confirm prior to that. We could talk to your husband, and if you got to cancel, that's fine. But this way, at least it's in my calendar. Can we do that? Can we do
Do you have
either?
anything? Do you have anything in the evenings?
I do actually. I could do Friday at 6.
Okay, that would work for us.
Okay, let's do Friday at 6, and then around noon on Friday, I'll give you a call and confirm, and I'll probably ask you some more questions too, and come over and see you.
Okay. Would you mind giving me your card? And then if it's not okay with my husband, I'll just call you and cancel.
Absolutely, no problem at all.
Perfect.
There you
Thank
go.
you.
You're welcome.
Okay, awesome, Kyle.
Thank you.
What are some things, just to go back on motivation when you're talking to somebody? Like you found out that she wants a larger home because her home is 1,500 square feet and she'd like a little bit bigger home in the same area. What are some questions that could maybe build the motivation for her? Just to ask a few more questions in that area. Can you think of a couple of questions that you could ask her to build, like to get her excited about getting a larger home in the same area?
What would a larger home mean to you?
Yes, exactly. Or what would you change about your home that you'd want in that next larger home that you want to purchase?
Right.
What do you like in your home now that you'd want to have in that next home? So like, let's say that she wants like a big gourmet kitchen, or her husband's looking for that big garage, or they want more acreage, or they want to be in a little bit more quiet neighborhood. So we're looking for like, what's the reason that they're really wanting that bigger home, right? Is it just for more space, or is there a different reason that we can kind of use to like build on her motivation to meet? Does that make sense?
Yep.
Because if we can find that, that's how we meet with people. You got to strike that emotion in them, because that's how you get the appointment.
Okay.
That's how you like, tell me more about that. Tell me more about wanting that bigger home. What do you want in that next home that you don't have right now?
Right. Okay. That
Who's trying to break in the building? So that's, you know, finding that emotional connection. All right, but great job. That was great.
Thank
Oh, the one thing, when you sit down with someone for investing, maybe have them meet with a lender first, so you don't waste your time. So
Right.
if you could get somebody that's like, oh yeah, I really have thought about doing the investing thing, say, great, I'm gonna have my lender call you in the next 48 hours. And so let's set an appointment for, you know, next Wednesday. So it gives you plenty of time to make sure that you feel comfortable with the financing part of it. And then we'll meet Wednesday, you know, set time for like Wednesday or Thursday of the following week, or, you know, give plenty of time for a lender to call them so that you're not sitting down with them, wasting your time, and they can't even do anything. Does that make sense? Because when a seller wants to invest, they now are a buyer.
Right.
So we want them to make sure that they get with that lender first, so that, again, you're like not wasting your time.
Right.
Was the door locked?
Yeah.
Oh no, I'm so sorry. I thought for sure I had unlocked it this morning. All right. Did we lose Brett Rackham? I was gonna go to Brett next and we lost him. All right. So Janet, do you want to be the agent next, or are you still driving?
Hang on, let me get my phone going here. I can't get back to the scripts.
It's okay. Well, we have time to do it again, so we'll come back to you.
Sounds good.
All right. So Stockton, let's see. Dawn, have you been the agent? Because everybody had a turn. Robert, you looks like you're driving. Yes? Okay, are you ready to go, or do you need a second to
Sure, I can go.
get your thoughts together? Okay, you'll be the agent, and then do you want to move closer to the screen? And we'll have John, will you be his cold?
Right here, good, or right here? I'll
Yeah.
sit right here.
We'll have you be his cold door.
Okay.
Okay, knock, knock.
Hello.
Hi, my name is John with Remax Associates. We just sold a house over on 750 North. It had 6 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, and it sold for $600,000. And what we know, when a home sells, another one sells right away. So I was just wondering when you plan on moving.
Oh, we've been thinking about it probably in the next 2 years.
Oh, you're thinking about moving in the next 2 years? That's awesome. So how long have you lived here?
We've been here about 15 years.
15 years. Wow. Wow. And how did you happen to pick this area?
We actually already lived on the street and we just moved 4 houses down.
Okay, perfect. So you moved just up the street, you just like the area. Did you need something bigger, or what was the reason for the move?
Yeah, this was a bigger home than what we had down the street.
All right, awesome, awesome. Now you mentioned that you were going to move in 2 years. Just kind of curious, what's happening in 2 years that would cause you to move?
Well, my wife's going to be retiring here at the end of the school year, and so just thinking of making a move after she retires.
Awesome, awesome. So, I mean, obviously, it takes between 1 and 3 months to get a home sold in this market. Would there be, if we could, get you moved to your new house sooner than later, would that cause a problem for you?
Yeah, really don't want to do anything till she's retired and kind of get a feel for how that all works out.
Okay, perfect. Well, what I'll do here is I'll keep your information. Can you tell me a little bit about your home, and then I can kind of give you an idea of what the market is doing, and then keep in touch with you when it gets a little closer to when you're going to move.
Sure. Yeah, it's got 4 bed, 2 bath, all new windows, new roof, new kitchen. So,
Awesome. Sounds like a great home. Hey, while I got you here, let me just ask you real quick, do you know anybody else that might want to move in this market, maybe from work or school, church, any of the neighbors talking about it?
yeah, my daughter's been thinking of moving.
Oh, really? Awesome. What's her name?
Her name's Kylie.
Kylie, and where do you know, when does she want to move?
I'm not sure if they have a time frame or yet or not.
Perfect. Would you think it'd be okay if I give her a call and kind of ask her and see how I can assist her?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Great. What's her phone number?
I
They
don't
don't-
know.
Yeah, 555-555-5555.
Well, awesome. Hey, it's great speaking with you. And we'll be in touch. I'll give Kylie a call and see how I can assist her as well.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Just to back up a little bit, just because I wasn't paying really close attention, did you say that you wanted to move, Dawn?
Yeah, in the next 2 years.
Oh, in the next 2 years. And did you ask him why he was moving in 2 years?
He kind of just told me he was moving because they were retiring at the end of the school year.
Oh, okay. Is it retired at the end of this school year? Oh, okay. So that's more of a condition. Where was he moving to?
I didn't ask.
Okay, so again, we've got to be like less assuming, because if he's retiring at the end of the year and he wants to move and he's moving in the same area, right? And it might be fine for him to move now versus later,
Mhm.
right? If there's not really anything stopping him other than, if someone's retiring and they're moving out of the area, then that's a huge condition, right? But if they're staying in the same area, it may be worth it to, still ask the question, hey, knowing that we know what the market's doing now, and we don't know what the market's gonna be doing in 1 to 2 years, would it make sense to meet right now and see if it makes sense for you to do something now versus waiting 1 to 2 years down the road when you retire? And let's just look at the numbers and see, if we can get you that home that you want now versus having to wait, if they're staying in the same area. So again, just asking those 1 or 2 more questions just to make sure, right?
Okay.
We know their situation. So what happens is if we don't ask the 1 to 2 more questions, what's gonna happen? They're now thinking about it, another agent's gonna swoop in, and by the time we call them, they've already done something, right?
Mhm.
And then we wonder, like, well, what happened? Like, why did they move so fast? They told me they couldn't move till they retired, right?
Right.
So, all right, Ray Lou, I saw you get on the call. Are you participating today?
Hey Katie, how you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
Good, good.
Do you have this? Can you see the script right there?
Yes, I can see it right now.
All right. Do you want to go ahead and be the agent for us?
All right, I can do that.
Okay. And then John, will you be his cold door for him?
Sure.
All right. Go for it, Ray Lou, and just simply read the script.
Okay, cool. Hello, my name is Ray. We are with Remax Associates. I recently sold a home in your area over on Sandy. It has like 2,000 square feet and it was sold for 450,000.
Keep going. Just keep going.
We know when someone sells a home, usually 2 more or sell right away. So I was wondering, how long have you lived in this at this address?
Do the number 1.
Oh, when do you plan on moving? I'm sorry.
No, good.
I don't think we have any plans to move right away.
Just say terrific to whatever he says.
Oh, can you not hear them anymore?
Nope.
Can you
Oh, so
hear
what
him?
happened is Ray can't hear you because there was feedback, because I'm in the same room, so he can't hear anything you guys are saying.
Let's
Because
see.
what happened was.
Oh, you
while
can't
he
hear
was
him?
Yeah, so he was using my speaker, but when he was talking, there was feedback. So I'm gonna have to unplug this, but there might be some feedback.
I'm
So,
sorry.
so yeah, he couldn't hear anything you guys were saying.
Okay, so tell him to end with when do you plan on moving, and then we'll go from there.
Okay. When do you plan on moving?
I don't have any plans to move right away. I think I'll just stay put.
Okay. How long have you lived at this address?
We've lived here for 7 years.
Cool. Where do you move from?
We moved from LA.
Nice. How did you happen to pick this area?
Oh, it was a job transfer. Just got transferred to Utah.
Okay, got it. If you were to move, where would you go next?
Oh gosh, I'd like to get back to LA. Be
Yeah,
around.
that's nice. Okay. And when would you that be? And when would that be?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't really thought about it. Maybe in a year or so.
Okay. Obviously, you realize it will take 1 to 3 months in this market to get a home sold. Do you know that?
I thought they were selling really quick. No, I didn't know that.
Okay. Yeah, so my question is, do you have to be sold in 1 month, or do you want to start selling at that time?
We probably, wouldn't want to start selling for, probably 6 months or so.
Okay, cool. Fortunately, to get you one step closer to LA, all we need to do now is simply set an appointment so I can help you get what you want in the time you want. Won't that be great?
Okay, so we'll stop there for just a second. So, Ray Lou, this is why we practice these a lot. And
Right.
so when John says, remind me, you're moving in a year,
Mhm.
and where were you going?
LA.
Oh, you were going to LA. So, in listening to what he's saying, kind of trying to like maybe stop in the middle and find out a little bit more about, maybe, what's taking you to LA. Because even though he's moving in a year, maybe there's a reason maybe he would move sooner than that. Unless there's a condition like retirement, his kids need to graduate from high school first, especially if they're moving outside the area. You want to see exactly like what are the reasons why they're moving in a year versus maybe sooner. So then the script makes more sense. Does that make sense?
Right.
Okay. So maybe stop and just ask him that one question. Hey, what would be taking you to LA?
Okay, number 8, right?
Yeah, it's just an extra question. It's just something that you kind of like build over time.
Okay. So when are you planning to go to LA? Is that okay?
Or like, what's taking you to LA? What's in LA that?
Oh, okay. What was the reason? Yeah. Okay, so what's taking you to LA?
Oh gosh, I'd like to get back to my family. That's where I came from. So just, I miss my family.
And then maybe if we could sell your home sooner than later, would you move sooner than 1 year?
Okay, if we sell your home sooner than later, will you be moving earlier than 1 year?
Possibly. I mean, yeah, we just kind of have to see if everything made sense.
Okay.
So really quick, Ray Lou, on this third page that I sent over attached to the script is these closes right here. So what you could do is take one of these closes and say something like, John, if it makes sense, let's meet for 30 minutes. And I can get you the information that you need. And you can see that, just if it makes sense for you and your family, to move sooner versus later. And then you guys can decide, from there what your time frame will be. And then I've got some time this time or this time. And these are just some beginning of some closes that you can use once you have a little more information.
Right.
So maybe just start the close with, John, if it makes sense to maybe move sooner than later, I'd like to meet with you for 30 minutes. and then give him 2 times.
But I can use any of those options, right?
You can use any of them.
Okay. Hey, John, what if it were possible, we can meet for 30 minutes or 1 hour?
Okay,
Give him 2 times.
On 2 different dates.
Like are you available to meet either Tuesday at 4 or Thursday at 7 next week? Give him 2 times that you're available.
Okay. Would you be able to meet with me on Thursday at 4 or probably Friday at 8 a.m.?
yeah, let's do Thursday.
Thursday would, okay.
Okay, awesome. And then we always end, Ray Lou, with, before I come out, there's just a few more questions. And then you want to go into your pre-qual. And your pre-qual questions, I did send those out. They should be in the education library, or I can send those to you again. But it simply goes through like the questions about their house, and you know, if all decision makers, people on title will be at the appointment. It just makes sure that you're asking all the questions so you're not wasting your time going out to an unqualified appointment.
Gotcha.
So like when you end the script, we just practice saying, hey, before I come out, there's just a couple more questions I need to ask you, so that you remember to ask the questions before you get off the phone.
Okay.
All right. Well, great job, Ray Lou.
Thank you, Katie.
All right. Okay, we lost. All right. So if anyone wants to make a comment, did this help as far as going out and talking to cold doors, cold phones?
Yes, definitely.
We're echoing. So literally, you guys, you can use other companies' listings. You can use our company listing. If you think you've got an agent that maybe does a lot of this already, you may want, I'm not gonna even go there. I think you can use other people's listings, our company listings. You can use your listing. Just get out there and talk to people. A lot of people will do open houses just so they can go out and talk to neighbors, because it makes it easier. This is also a really easy way to go out and talk to people. You don't necessarily have to do an open house to go out and talk to people. This is a great way to go out and talk to people. Just look up a home that was just listed, a home that just sold, and just get out and talk to people. Or if you have an agent in the office that has a buyer that can't find a property, find out what they're looking for and go into those neighborhoods and just say, hey, we've got a buyer that's looking for a home in your neighborhood. Or if you've got a buyer that needs a home, go into those neighborhoods and try to go find them a home. It is a great way to go find a listing. And then once you have that listing, business breeds business, right? And there's no better way to not be in competition with any other agent. Usually no one else knows about these types of leads, and you don't have to pay anything. You're not paying 50%, right? This is your lead. You get the full commission, and there's not really any competition with these leads. So it's a great source of business. And you will find those people that are looking for you and that do need to sell their home. So it's just about getting out there and just talking to people. So if you guys have questions, feel free to call me. And yeah, have a great week. All right, you guys. Thanks for being on the call.
Thank you.
We'll
Thanks.
see you next week.
Thank you.
Bye, you guys.
Bye.
Lady. Traffic.
Oh, the traffic was terrible. I almost didn't get here on time.